Speaking of violence, we haven't done this for a while, and I think it's important to do it again. Did you know that there were 10 mass shootings this past weekend? Just this past weekend that finished a couple days ago. The Gun Violence Archive tracks mass shootings. And on June 4th, 5th, and 6th, there were 10 individual shooting incidents in which a minimum of 4 victims were shot, either injured or killed, not including any shooter who may have also been injured or killed during the incident. This is 10 incidents where at least 4 people were killed and or injured. And consider for a second, by this definition of mass shooting, where you need at least 4 injuries or deaths, there were a whole bunch of other incidents with 2 or 3 people being injured and killed. When the baseline is set at 4 injured and killed, we had 10 such incidents this past weekend, and it barely made news. It is just another normal weekend in the United States of America. Some examples. In Portland, Oregon, 4 were killed and 1 were injured at a home. In Indianapolis, Indiana, 2 were killed and 2 were injured, all in the parking lot of a Boston Market restaurant. In North Carolina, 4 people were shot and injured at a party at a trailer park. And I could go through and give you all of the various stories, but you can imagine how all of these or many of these went down. But 10 mass shootings this weekend, and it barely makes news because it has become background noise. That's the tragic reality of the situation. The loss of life, the injury, that's one tragedy. The other tragedy is that this stuff barely even makes the news anymore. Another weekend, another 10 mass shootings. And the number is probably more like 25 if you include those where 2 or 3 people were injured as well. Also, it's embarrassing. It's not just tragic, it's embarrassing. The world looks at us. Clearly, we have the resources for dealing with this. It's not a money issue. We have no shortage of ideas for how to deal with it, even if, without touching the Second Amendment, which we have a Second Amendment, okay. Without even going close to infringing on the Second Amendment, we have so many ideas for things that should be done. Look at what happened on vaccines once we got competent leadership in power in January. We clearly can do things. We clearly can manage big projects. It's not an impossibility. And yet there is simply no political will to deal with this. And it's a global embarrassment, truly. And even if you don't care about gun violence per se, like maybe you don't, do you realize how this makes us look to our adversaries and the ideas that this gives our adversaries? They see another weekend, another 10 mass shootings. What the hell is wrong with these Americans? They are saying, if the US population has been propagandized enough that they won't do anything on guns, if they can't even pass 100% universal background checks, when Democrats control the House, Senate, White House, and right after the Sandy Hook shooting, if they can't do that, clearly these are very manipulatable people. This is one of those situations where the world sees the insanity of this. Is this not yet affecting the right people? And that's why nothing is being done? Is the combination of the gun profit lobby, because that's what they are, and the gun nuts, is that combination too powerful to allow anything to be done? My issue isn't even with the firearms necessarily, but it's with American gun culture, lack of screening, lack of enforcement of laws, lack of ongoing training, insurance policies if you own guns, lack of access to mental health treatment, the political movement that fetishizes guns. Yeah, okay, the guns are a problem, but what I mean is it doesn't have to be a problem of guns necessarily. And I'm being careful with the wording here. In our case, it is a problem of guns, but also of all of those other things that I mentioned. And the world sees it, and it's humiliating, it's tragic, it's embarrassing, and there is I wish I had any optimism. I have no optimism. Okay, Biden announced some stuff. He is directing the creation of certain groups to look at. Okay, it was an effort. But most of that is just, hey, please look into this type stuff. I am not optimistic on this issue at all. If you are, let me know why. Let me know why I should be more optimistic. You can find me on Twitter @DPakman.
For the longest time, I was having trouble finding snacks that are healthy but actually taste great and fill me up and satisfy a craving. And that's why it's great that I stumbled upon Monk Pack and we asked them to be one of our sponsors. Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars are delicious snacks that have 1 gram of sugar or less, only 2 to 3 grams of net carbs, and just 150 calories, perfect for a keto or low carb diet, or anybody who, like me, just prefers to eat a low sugar diet. I love the Monk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars because it's really just a great balance of sweet and salty, soft and chewy, but with a nice crunch from the nuts and seeds. Flavors include caramel or caramel, you tell me, sea salt dark chocolate, and peanut butter dark chocolate. That's my favorite. They'll give you all of your money back if you don't love it. Go to monkpack.com. The link is down below, and they'll give you 20% off any of their products when you use coupon code PAKMAN.